Hey everyone, looks like I'm live and in excellent condition. So this time I want to see if I can do a good stream, one without any issues, any networking issues, any problems like that. So here we go. I have some tiny issues to work on in Tomato 2 today. Should I tweet a link to my stream? Let's try tweeting it out, but I hope my technology doesn't fail this time. Now where's the link? Okay, I got a link. Whoa, okay. Let's tweet it out. Another attempt at streaming my Tomato 2 coding. All right, let's go back. So here's where I was. Here's my list. So I'm pretty much done with the preferences screen, except for one thing. When you use Tomato 2 on your phone, you're most likely gonna have it on your desk and you're gonna leave the screen on. That's at least what I typically do. Or if I use it on my iPad, I will leave the screen on so that I can glance at the display and see how much time there's left. In order to do that, and this is actually something a lot of people asked me about when they were using Focus List on iOS devices, is they want the screen to not sleep when the Tomato is running. So, and I found this over at Hacking with Swift. Okay. Now, great, super easy. The problem is we only want to do this if two conditions are met. First, a Tomato is running or up your cycle, it's going to sleep. And second, the user has allowed this in preferences. So let's go over to preferences and what is this? Ooh, okay. Let's get my preferences. State. Good. And we're gonna create a new setting because this was not used before, because Tomato 2 only existed for Mac. So let me find a good place for this option. So we have hide dock icon. This is a desktop thing, always on top, desktop. Let's do here and let's call this once prevent sleep. Or just prevents sleep. Let's just go with prevents sleep. Okay. Prevents device sleep. I like it. All right, so let's just use the same name here. Oops. And I'm not really sure how to define this because it's been a while that I wrote this, but I'm just gonna follow this one, and I'm just gonna copy it over. So this is what I want to add. I want to add prevents device sleep. So let's do that. Prevents device sleep, and it will be a Boolean. And what should be the default value? I say let's go aggressive and make it true by default. So the first time you install the app, it will prevent device sleep. Of course, now we need to add settings for that. So we're going back to our preferences view. And here, as we were making this settings, oh crap. Okay, I'm gonna have to connect my charger in a bit, so I'll be out for a sec in a bit. That's okay. All right, so we have when session ends, which is a picker. Then we have all these number inputs, and let's add another section. And I'll just copy this one. And we're gonna call this section, I don't know, other for now. Okay, let's do a toggle, and now we're gonna help ourselves. Actually, there's no need. Autocomplete did the job. So let's call this prevent sleep, and we're gonna bind it directly to settings, I think. So self settings prevents device sleep. Okay, was it that easy? Let me try running that. Sorry, I'm thirsty. All right, let's go to preferences. Oh, look at that. That was really easy. Good. Man, I wish I could change this color. Let's look into that because my color scheme is like cold gray, and this is like really green. Let's go look for SwiftUI toggle tint color. And you can notice I'm doing a lot of Googling in these sessions, and that's just because I don't do SwiftUI as my daily job. It's just something I do by night. So that kind of also means I'm not that great with it. But, you know, it is what it is. So here's how you change the color. It says SwiftUI 2.0, which I think we should have because we're developing for iOS 14. So this shouldn't be a problem. I'm building now. I'm gonna run. And I'll go to preference. Okay, great. Oh, that's a good color. That's very tomato color. Okay, we're gonna have to pick some kind of tint color. I'd like something bluish. Can I just switch to blue? Will that work? Sorry about that background noise. I really hope that's not too loud. It's just my dishwasher. Okay, okay, so that's not so bad. I don't want to spend any more time on this, but this blue looks pretty good to me. So, prevent sleep is on by default. We can turn it off. We can go back. We can quit the app and relaunch it just to confirm that the setting will be persisted between my two launches. I don't think that was persisted though. I turn it off and I quit, and then I opened it again, and I think it remained on. So, oh, where's my simulator? So, it is still on. Okay. Well, that's not good. Looks like this isn't getting saved. Okay, I think the problem might be in this update defaults method. This is all manually defined, so we have to go to defaults dot prevents device sleep, launch again. Oops. Okay. So let's go here. Let's try turning it off now, quitting the simulator, starting again. And let's see if it remained off. Preferences, and it is off. Great. So let's keep it on for now, just to make sure that this is gonna take effect. Now we need to find a good place to adjust this. So I would normally just kind of put it in timer state because that's where a lot of things are happening. I think notifications are happening there. And plenty of other things are happening here. But right now, I just feel like it would make a little more sense to go into another class that would be just listening to changes in timer state and then setting everything up. So it would be pretty cool to set up a new class. So I'm gonna create a folder here called managers, and I'll do something like new file, and I'll call it device sleep manager. All right, let's do class device sleep manager init, and we'll just print something out to make sure that we're called. So we'll say device sleep init, and now we need to initialize it somewhere. But here's the problem: there's no more app delegate. So I mean, we could initialize it here as we do with persistence controller. So maybe that's a good idea actually. So sleep manager equals device sleep manager. And now let's see if this method will be called. The next thing we're doing is getting a little combine magic. Let me actually see this. Okay, so next thing we're doing is getting a little combine magic and watching for the state here. And we don't have to start from scratch because we already have plenty of places in the source code where we do the same thing. Actually, timer state is the one. So let me close that. So where are we watching for the timer state? We have no, not this one. Let's find timer state. Okay, so we have runner, we have session. It sounds like watching changes to session could help us, and I can actually just type this. So I'll get the timer state. Timer equals timer state dot shared, and then I'll do timer dot session, and I'll add sync. So sync is a combine method that will just call my callback whenever session changes. One important thing to do is import combine and add. What I typically do is I initialize an array of cancellables that goes like any cancelable, and into that array I append the result of calling sing. And it is an array just because I am expecting to have more syncs in my code. So I just append that to the cancellables array, and now whenever session changes, this callback should be called. So why am I doing cancellables? This is just memory management. So when this class goes away, I want to make sure that it stops calling my callback. So, well, it's actually more complicated than that, but it's all about unsubscribing from this update. Anyway, so we just changed session. We just printed that session changed. Let's run it again. And it says session changed to nil, so let's just try to start a session. Okay, it's telling me about notifications, that's fine. And did I get a log here? Great, the session changed to something. So now we need to decide if we need to prevent sleep. So first of all, we need to get the configuration from setting state. So we'll have to use sync again. Actually, yeah, let's use sync again. So we'll do something like this. Add a new method and call it update device sleep. And it'll take session. Timer session. Oops. Session what? What is session? It's, oops, where's session timer state? So what is a session? It's a running session. Good. So running, it takes a running session, question mark, and it takes prevents sleep setting, which is bool. Actually, well, let me just come back to this. Let's first get our setting state, and let's see how can we watch this this variable change. So let settings equals setting state shared. Settings dot prevents device sleep. And same thing, it's a $sign because we need the binding. Sync prevents device sleep. And whoa, something's wrong. Prevents device sleep. We'll print it out, and we'll also append it to cancellables array. And this is all great, but notice that it's kind of strange. Like, how do we ever merge these two signals? Right? There's one that can change at times. There's another. What we could do is store this in a local variable, and then we could read it here. But is there a better way? And of course there is. We have combine. So combine merge to publishers. Let's get something like this. Swift by Sundell. So loading data from multiple sources. Just gonna scroll down a little bit and find something useful. Okay. There's a lot of complicated things happening. Well, this is a pretty complicated article. I'm not going into that right now. I just need to merge the two. Oh, combine latest? It just kind of rings a bell. Oh, that's a different library. Okay, but we do have combine latest, and that's just like I just fished it out of memory right now. So what we is subscribe to an additional publisher and publishes a tuple output from either publisher. So this is kind of what we need here. So let's take this one, the prevents device sleep, and say combine latest, and the other will be timer session. And then we can do sync on both of them, and it'll be two values, right? It'll be prevent sleep, and it'll be the session. So we're gonna print something here. So let's say one of the values changed, and we'll print out prevents sleep, and we'll also print out session. Okay, so we just combined the latest values of these two publishers. So that just means that when I change one of them, I should get the output message. So no output yet. If I click Start Tomato, nothing happened. I'm not sure, but I think it might be because I didn't save it into my cancelables, so it may have been just erased from the memory and never called. Let's try that again and do it properly with cancelables. And Start Tomato. Great! I am getting a callback. It says one of the values changed. Prevent sleep is true because that's the current value in the settings. And session is the current session. By the way, these problems with my buttons, you can see that the stop button is gone. I think this is just because they don't fit on the screen. So we'll come back to that. I should actually take note of that. So we'll just say, looks like buttons sometimes don't fit on the screen, and try on smaller devices. Good. Okay, so let's go to preferences now, and let's see if changing my preference will also trigger the callback. So change that, and look at that, it triggered the callback, and I'm also getting the correct value. Prevent sleep was changed to false. So stop that, and let's do the real thing now. Let's go back to article from this one. This is super complicated, and I don't want to read it. I'm just kidding. I'm gonna read it sometime. So where's the article? Here we go. How to stop the screen from going to sleep. We just need to call this, but first we need to decide if we want to disable the idle timer, and that's going to be pretty easy, I think. So whenever there's a session, it means we want to disable it, and also prevent sleep needs to be set to true. So session isn't nil, and prevent sleep is set to true. And we're just gonna, so we can really test it now in the simulator, and even on the device it would be really awkward to test it because I would have to wait a couple minutes to make sure that it doesn't go to sleep. So we're just gonna test it by printing out. I'm importing UIKit because it seems like UI application was complaining. So let's just do this. Let is timer disabled equals, we're going to put it in a variable, is timer disabled. And what else? We're gonna print it. Is timer disabled build. Okay, so is timer disabled? False. Let's start a tomato. Still false. Let's go to preferences and check this. Is timer disabled? True. Good. Let's go back. Stop the session. Timer disabled? False. Well, that looks pretty good to me. I'm gonna commit the changes and call this feature done, even though I haven't tested it on my device. I'm not too worried about that. Pretty sure it'll work. Oh, don't need this. So that was pretty cool because we used that combine latest thing, which is like really super simple, but it was still fun using it. Let me see. Oh, there's gonna be some older stuff, I'm afraid, but never mind. What was this? Preventing sleep when a session is running. Okay. Okay, so done. What else are we doing? Oh, I wanted to show you this other thing that's already finished, but as you can see, I'm using some custom buttons here. Like, I'm not using the normal navigation bar at all, which is maybe a problem. I really don't know how you're supposed to do this. I know there's one big problem is that when you click here, the header, the status symbols are all white, which looks terrible. So that's something I'm gonna have to deal with. But there was another issue, and that was that I couldn't swipe from left edge to go back, right? So, and I fixed it. It was fairly easy, but it's a really strange solution, so I wanted to show you. I found it on Stack Overflow, of course, and I had to create an extension from UI Navigation View Controller. No, just UI Navigation Controller. It's so strange. I'm not even sure what is going on here, but it's clearly overriding some system defaults, and that's what fixed the issue. It still doesn't work in the simulator, but on the device it is fixed. So on the device you can swipe from the left edge and it will go back. So that's kind of cool, but also kind of crazy that things like that happen. That's all good. Okay, so look at that. My buttons broke again. That's kind of terrible. Oh, and then I scrolled and they went back. But I'm not gonna deal with that right now because it's not too exciting. Let me see what else could we do here. Notification when display is active. Okay, so there's another thing we could do. And let me go into timer state. First thing I'm gonna do is change seconds per minute from 60 to 1 so that I could do like real-time debugging of these cycles. So let's see here. This is good. So if I start a tomato like that, okay. One thing that's missing is a stop button, which is kind of strange. I think on desktop that definitely shows. If I start tomato here, like there is a stop button, so it's supposed to be here as well. It's just not showing up. I think it might be related to my odd layout or like just the layout issues. Anyway, the thing I was thinking about just now is that we have settings that says ask what to do, but it's not really asking. It just keeps going. So this setting, ask what to do, is actually the same as silently continue, and that's kind of a problem. But the thing is, if your display is off and it's just gonna give you a notification, it's not gonna ask what to do. So I'm not really sure what to do about this. Yeah, I'm not sure. This is like all kind of stuff that I have to think about some more. Okay, well, I think I'm gonna wrap it up for today because there are no too interesting things to do. Most of them are like I have to think for an hour and then figure it out. So not much material for a live stream, but I see that some people viewed this, and that's awesome. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll come up with some more exciting stuff to stream. And also, we're coming up on almost 25 minutes in this stream, which means we just did a perfect Pomodoro, and I'll end it at 25. Bye.